Hello everyone, it's GigaBeef here, and today we're looking at the MP7, which has retained its status as probably the best all-around SMG in the game, despite some of the ammo changes that have hurt other guns such as the P90. As a reminder, this wipe, various subsonic cartridges got rebalanced, including Subsonic SX, which was previously very popular, but it was pretty much nerfed out of relevance completely, going from 36 pen to 23 as of patch 13.5. As you might imagine, this has had a dramatic effect on its performance against armor, but a new ammo type, JSP SX, was added in between with 32 pen instead. Before we continue, today's video is sponsored by the Ridge wallet, and I have yet another style to show you, which is the Forged Ember, which I think is awesome. I swapped over to the Ridge wallet and keycase a while ago and couldn't be happier. They hold up to 12 cards super securely and come in a ton of cool designs. We have a keycard holder in Tarkov, so why not extend that to your real life? This version comes with a cash strap rather than a money clip, but it comes down to personal preference ultimately, and as always they block unsolicited RFID reading. One of the best things about the Ridge products is the build quality. The wallet is really light but so much more robust than a traditional one, and is literally the size of a card, so it will fit into your pocket really neatly. Mine looks good as new after about 6 months, and there are well over 30 colours and styles, so you can pick the perfect look for you. Same goes for the key case. This holds 2 to 6 keys, and my car key goes on a little ring at the back. After reviewing my massive wad of keys, I only needed, 2 of them, and I still feel a bit silly lugging around 13 keys and 4 random barcode tags for years. The Ridge team are so confident that you'll be converted that they have a 99-day test drive period, after which you can get your money back if you don't love it, and a lifetime warranty if you do. You can get the best offer using my link and code GigaRidge at the checkout to save 10% on your order. So that's ridge.com/GigaRidge to join the 80,000 strong 5-star rated proud owners of the Ridge wallet. So, now we have JSP at 32 pen, FMJ at 40 and APSX at 53. But the real point here that makes the difference is FMJ's availability on Peacekeeper 3. When compared to the 9mm weapons, the P90, the UMP and even some of the newer editions like the SR2M, it's very unusual to have a 40 pen bullet for a high RPM weapon accessible at this stage. But one thing to remember is that the MP7 in general does have quite low damage. Although FMJ makes it excellent at fighting players wearing class 4 armor, being somewhat similar overall to 5.56's M856A1 cartridge but with a high rate of fire, it does suffer somewhat against higher health targets such as bosses, guards and raiders. In this way, it is typically better to use it in purely PvP against other players and basic scavs, as you might find that the 43 damage takes a much longer time than you would expect to down these higher level AIs. But this raises a question: is it ever worth using Subsonic and JSP? Subsonic did retain its unique feature of lower recoil, but the stats now make it very bad against even budget class 4s, which is why I think this is in the never used territory these days. Against a class 4 rat rig even, you'll actually kill your target with blunt damage before you start penetrating the vest, which is in about 8 shots to the thorax. Not very good. Both Subsonic and JSP are on Mechanic 2, and JSP performs much better. The time to kill here is typically 4 to 6 thorax shots against mid-tier class 4 armors versus 3 for FMJ, although against class 4 helmets it's very unlikely to go through on the first shot. That being said, it is worth remembering that FMJ won't one-shot through class 4 anyway either, due to the damage reduction applied on a penetration, so even though it's almost certain to go through, it won't actually kill them. This is another issue with the low damage of the 4.6 HK caliber in general. Overall, you really want to be using FMJ, but JSP is passable if you simply don't have access to it. The restrictiveness of the ammo is probably the main reason why the base weapons are so cheap. Most people avoid using the MP7 until at least Peacekeeper 3 because of FMJ, but also the 30 round magazines, which only become available cheaply at Mechanic 3 at level 30. Most of the time you can pick up an A1 for 30 to 35k or an A2 for 40k, which is a steal given they hardly need modding at all. The only difference between these two weapons is the foregrip slot on the A2, otherwise they have identical stats. This means that the A2 performs better than the A1 precisely by the foregrip's recoil and ergo that you choose to add. However, in my opinion, it hardly matters what you do here. Because recoil, as usual for mods, is calculated based on a weapon's starting recoil and the MP7's is extremely low to begin with, it almost makes no difference which foregrip you choose. So generally I pick the A1 if I'm not going suppressed, as we don't need more ergo and the recoil can't really be improved very much, and the A2 if I do go suppressed, because then you can add an ergo-centric foregrip trying to counteract some of the negative ergonomics. Outside of this, the only other additions you can really make are the laser flashlight and optics. Although the suppressor is quite expensive, being 60k from Mechanic 4 or 90-ish K from the flea market, you could argue that you didn't need to buy anything else for the weapon, so the base gun is still only around 150k or so. This is roughly equivalent to many mid-game builds. There is one thing important to mention about flashlights that is worth being aware of. Currently, the MP7 suppressor shows up as a large shadow with the suppressor on, which can be super distracting depending on the lighting situation. Whichever side side you end up putting on the light puts the shadow on the other side with all of your regular lights, so the only way to really avoid this is to use the XC1 on the top, which gives a shadow below instead. This shadow is both much less annoying and isn't visible in ADS either. If you do this though, you'll need to add another attachment too in order to get a laser at the same time. We mentioned a moment ago the issue with the 30 rounders being locked to mechanic 3. These make the gun a lot more comfortable to use simply due to the 950 RPM fire rate, which is extremely high. With the 20 rounders, you're only able to fire the weapon for just over a second before running out of ammunition, and as the MP7's overall recoil is a little higher than most other comparable weapons, it can be a bit challenging. It is possible, and I have done it before, but the 30s are really what you want before you can start using the MP7 regularly and be fully competitive. However, one of the best things about the gun is that it scales into the endgame pretty well with the addition of 40 rounders at mechanic 4, coupled with the fact that it is possible to craft APSX in the workbench. While not a common choice in the late game, it does give the ability to 3-shot class 5 armors, which again for this fire rate is quite unusual outside of something like the VSS. So next up, let's check out some gameplay to see how I got on with it recently. I guess we can go from here and up. We'll go to dome first. Damn it, that piece of glass got in the way. We were like beaming him, and then there's a big slice of grass in the way. I don't want to get into a fight with somebody like right. Oh crap! It's not the best spawn, he says. Oh crap. Right, can I see a mess, please? Who's this? Oh, it's somebody in the financial building. I see. They're going out. I mean, we can just go and fight him. Or we wait till he pushes and gun him down like a rat. You move, you die. Isn't that what they say? You move, you die? It's the meta. It's the meta. Under the archway. That kind of stuff. Is that JSP? You know what? I'm going to take the JSP. Just because I don't actually have that much more FMJ. Oh. I don't know if he was the only one. Oh, there's not really any cover here. Ow. I don't know. So as usual, a big shout out to all my patrons, and as always, have fun in your raids.